Afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining. Today we have the inimitable Chris Watkin. So thanks for joining, Chris. Going to ask you a few questions, pick your brains and see what you got for us, okay?
Great, thank you, Nat.
So before we crack on, for those that don't know you, and I'm sure there are not that many people that don't know you, tell us the who and what about Mr. Watkin. Go.
So my name is Chris Watkin. My daytime job is that I create content for estate and letting agents in the UK by ghostwriting them articles on their local property market, because I'm of the opinion that local homeowners are interested in the property market and not the agents. That job allows me 2 or 3 days a week to do other stuff, and most people know me from interviewing people on the Watkin sofa, and that just literally came about 4.5 years ago when I met Stephen Brown in Grantham, and I took my mobile phone and we switched it on and had a chat, a bit like you and I today, albeit virtually. It went down really well, so I interviewed someone else, and 4.5 years later, I've now done 1,800 videos.
I know, that is pretty amazing.
And I do it just for fun. I don't do it to earn money. Everyone that sits on my sofa doesn't cost anything. I have to pay for it, but I just enjoy doing it. Yeah, thank you.
1,700. Well, I absolutely feel honoured in the presence of royalty here. So for once, we've got you on the other side of the camera, so to speak. So let's see what we can get from you. So, Chris, I wanted to ask you firstly around training. Really, obviously, you work with letting agents. That's mainly the work that you do in terms of the content and everything else like that. We've got specific industry trainers, Property Mark, Rightmove, and others. But is there too much training going on, and should there be perhaps a smaller number of widely accepted trainers? What's your thoughts on that, Chris?
Well, again, one would question is property. Let's use Property Mark. Is Property Mark a trainer? I would probably say no, they're not. I know they have a small aspect of that. I mean, I find it fascinating. Let's take out, there's 20,000 estate agency branches in the UK. Let's strip out all the corporates, and we end up with about 14 or 15,000 estate agency companies. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And stripping out Property Mark and other such organisations, I can never get beyond those fingers on the number of trainers that I know that train estate agents. When you consider that 25% of estate agents are only in Property Mark and 33% are in Property Mark themselves, even if they were great trainers, that's still only, I can never get more than 10, unless there's some ones I don't know. So I would say there aren't enough. And I think quite if you go to the likes of Australia or America, every man and his dog is a trainer. Whilst in the UK, we just quite simply, we all work for Countrywide, and when we left in 2008, that's where our training stopped. So I think we should have more, Matt.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. So thinking about agents, training, winning instructions, do you think agents at the moment, I mean, it's, the market has been fantastic for the last year. The stock is getting short. Are they working hard enough at the moment to win those instructions?
I think the biggest issue at the moment is not necessarily winning the instructions, it's actually getting called out to the free valuation in the first place. People say, well, there was a post this morning on Facebook, what are your plans to get more listings in Q1 2022? And the answer was ring people in September, October, and November. Business generation is quite simple. It's all about building relationships, grabbing people's attentions and getting them to listen to what you have to say. And I think a lot of estate agents, especially listers, because we pay our listers on the here and now, and we want the business now, and the way their minds are set up, the type of personality that's attracted to be an estate agent, quite often playing the long game is something that estate agents don't do. And I think
low-hanging fruit. So they're taking the low-hanging fruit.
So really, what are they doing? They're basically converting what's in front of them. Or as I would actually say that the vast majority of estate agents in the UK are just like pizza takeaways. They wait for the phone to ring and then go and deliver it, but they don't go out there trying to sell the pizzas.
Okay, so it's all about looking after your existing clients, your database, nurturing. You and I both know a lot about that.
Well, I mean, this is the thing that absolutely scares me. Since lockdown, half of the people who've sold in the last 18 months have only been in their house 6 years and 18 weeks.
Okay.
But the problem is only 1 in 8 people go back to the agent that they bought their house off.
1 in 8. That's
Yeah.
an amazing stat.
Only 1 in 8 people go back to the, we're not talking about the owner here who sold their house on. We're talking about the person who bought it, the person who basically, you're the agent who sold it to them and think the sun shines out your backside. But only 1 in 8 actually go back to the agent that originally sold them their house. And I think
a huge amount of business lost there had they have kept in touch and
I think
fostered that relationship.
it's because we are transactional based as an industry and not relationship based. We need to be the estate agent of life. And the problem is that because we pay and commission our negs on the now, what's the point in trying to tickle them for the next 6 years?
Yeah.
That's the job of the boss. The job of the boss is to create nurture programs. Yes, you've got your hunters going out there converting the stuff, but you also need to have a client services department, which is a posh, what some of the bigger agents do, which is a posh word for business generation department, or really just pick up the phone to people every 3 or 4 months saying, hi, how you doing? Do you want to know what your house is worth?
Yeah. In fact, we're seeing a lot of that, particularly from our friends in the US, in terms of their the way that they would look after clients. And actually, it's not just about selling them a house or renting them a house. Actually, there's so many other things that a house needs that actually the realtor, in the case of in the States, will actually be the person that they are that they look towards to help them with all that sort of stuff. I wonder if that sort of thing should be more prevalent over here.
It should be, but again, the type of personality who's the type of person, profile type who's an American estate agent is different to a British one, and quite frankly, we deserve what we don't get because we pay people on the transaction and we don't encourage them. And quite frankly, most estate agency bosses are so short-sighted and they're constantly what's in it for me now, what's in it for me now, and their long term is no bigger than their pipeline. They don't deserve to survive or even thrive. It's quite funny. There are some estate agents out there who really get it. And the best estate agency bosses I come across are those with between 4 and 7 branches.
Small enough to care, but not large enough, but small enough to care as well.
Small enough to care, but also big enough that they can take a step away from being, the classic on the business in the business.
They're working in it too much.
The best thing I would advise anyone to do is basically, why don't you even go and get a VA in South Africa and just basically just pick up the phone to everyone, and their job is not to sell anything. Their job is just to pick up the phone and say, hi, just want to let you know this is what's coming into the property market at the moment. And and one has just sold around the corner, because all you have to do is put the postcode into Rightmove house prices, the public section, quarter of a mile.
So actually just creating relationships, just keeping that contact with them.
But aren't we in the relationship game?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It's easy. It's an easy win. I think that's what we're saying.
Problem is that you won't get the business from that for 2 or 3 years. But you know as well as I do, anything worth having in this world takes time.
Yeah, that's right. It's got to be nurtured, got to be fostered across the period. Yeah, Chris, thank you so much. That's been brilliant, and thanks for giving us the time today. All right, cheers, Chris. Thanks a lot.